Hello everybody! Welcome to another Sunday Funday, and as much as I couldn't make this, or as I wanted to really make this like a monster weekend Sunday Funday, because I really wanted to see I Kill Giants, because it actually looks like a lot of fun. Instead, we just went to see Pacific Rim Uprising. Of course, a sequel to Pacific Rim. Who'd have thunk it? Oh, I got attacked by Megan's purse, because Megan puts it on a hill. But yeah.
Well, that's your hill. Your hill fluffies.
But yeah. To talk about Pacific Rim Uprising, we do need to talk about the first one, which thankfully I did show Megan week before or last week. So that way Megan didn't go into Pacific Rim Uprising completely uncertain of anything. Though I would say with Pacific Rim Uprising, you probably don't need to see the first one, because it does explain things.
They kind of recaps it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of explains, like, okay, the monsters are called kaijus, the
robots are called Jaegers,
and there was this big war, and they came out of this.
They came out of the breach.
And his father, Idris Elba, helped kill him, and was a big hero. And
mm-hmm. They just completely gloss over Charlie Hunnam for some reason. Like the to go ahead and get into Pacific Rim Uprising, warning, we're probably going to spoil this a little bit, because a lot of the problems, go ahead and let you know I do have problems with this movie. A lot of problems I have with it deal with the plot elements of it. So I'm going to spoil this. So, yeah, fair warning. But yeah, Charlie Hunnam's completely absent in this movie.
now you know a mention of him.
Yeah, that's weird. It's like, okay, I know Charlie Hunnam's character was almost a little too happy and just like over-eager puppy at times. He was like an over-eager bulldog in a lot of ways, which was kind of adorable. I kind of really wanted to scratch him behind the ears a lot.
Yeah, he's a little bit too good, too heroic of a character. It's almost unbelievable.
Yeah, but I don't mind that. I mean, after seeing so many, like, well, this is his character, but he has a flaw. After a while, I get tired of that. That's the reason why I don't mind Superman being, Superman, being this, ultra uber powerful character.
As a Batman fan.
Yeah. As long as they make him, consistent with his character, and it's not just, well, Man of Steel. So, that's a whole other discussion we'll eventually get into one day. So just to put this out about Pacific Rim, the very first one. I loved it. I love the ever-living shit out of it. It's one of my favorite movies ever. It's one of my favorite monster movies, hands down. But I can actually say, like, in top 20 films, I'm pretty sure it's in there. It's just such a beautiful looking movie. Like, CGI is actually top notch in that film. Like, all of it feels real. Like, everything feels very weighty. Feels like when a monster gets smacked by a fucking boat, it feels like he got smacked by a fucking boat. And it's as insane and as stupid as it probably should be, but somehow Pacific Rim makes it work, which is novel, and it's actually really, really well done. It helps that the writing in the movie is actually pretty good. It plays on a lot of the tropes, and it does use a lot of the tropes, but it always uses the good tropes, and it doesn't go into the bad tropes. Like, if anybody's ever seen the late 60s, mid 70s Godzilla films, they're terrible. Like, I own a number of them, but they're really, really bad.
Like, guilty pleasure bad, or?
No, they're outright just bad. Like, Godzilla vs. Hedorah is a freaking acid trip, and I don't know what's going on in the entire movie. I've watched it 5 times. I still don't understand what happens, and I'm like, there's stuff, and there's a monster of pollution, I think, and oh my god, why does my brain feel like it's on fire? Why do I smell copper? But like I said, Pacific Rim does it all well. And it also helps that Charlie Hunnam, he's actually a very charismatic lead. Idris Elba is awesome in just everything. It's Idris Elba for you. He's awesome in Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. He's awesome in Dark Tower. He's awesome in Pacific Rim. Give me a movie Idris Elba didn't do awesome in. You can't. But then also, What was her name? What was the Asian lady's name? She was actually Japanese, if I'm not mistaken, in the film.
Charlie Hunnam's love interest?
Not really love interest, just his partner, his pilot, co-pilot. Miko. I think it's Miko.
Mako or Miko?
Yeah. Alright, sorry, y'all. I have to be that guy. But yeah, she actually appears in Pacific Rim Uprising. And it's funny, out of all the different characters from Pacific Rim, she's the only one who appears back again. It's like, okay, so you could afford nobody else, I guess. Doesn't bug me. Mako. Though, how us stupid Americans, we would call it Mako. Sorry, if y'all wonder what we're looking at, my Xbox just turned on.
Itself.
Just deal with that and turn off my TV. My Xbox is possessed, y'all. It just randomly will turn on and so because my controller's right here. There's nothing near the button. It just turns on.
I would say we did not touch this. It just turned itself on, then turned the TV on. It's like,
yeah, because my TV has an automatic turn on thing. But yeah, she's the only original character who pops up. Turns out they have to craft in a story about how John Boyega and her actually grew up together. Never mind the fact she never mentioned John Boyega in the first movie, but I'm okay with that. And John Boyega, he is what he seems like he's going to be. He's pretty much his character from Attack the Block. Those who have never seen Attack the Block, go watch. It's actually a really good movie, even though his character's kind of a scumbag in it. But he's a lovable scumbag. And also turn the subtitles on, because unless you're really cockneyed and, know a lot of British slang, you're going to be fucking confused. Like, I was like, I don't know what accent even that is. Because you go back to the bloke. I'm like, eh? But, yeah, Attack the Block's really good, and that character fit. Here it can get a bit grating. Like, his character, there was a lot of times I really wanted to tell him to shut up. He got really obnoxious after a while. And I was like, alright, I love John Boyega. I actually really like him.
I actually did not mind his character.
I was glad you did, but his character just got so obnoxious. Like, he would veer from being, an emotional person to being a smartass, and then veer right back to the emotional, veer right back to the smartass, which then cut into the other thing I started to notice about 15 minutes into this movie. This movie's chopped to bits. Like, this is an edited film. Like, I thought we were getting a whole story. We got 17 stories that never really got a good conclusion. Thanks, guys. As you can see, I didn't much care for this film as much. Megan, on the other hand...
I actually enjoyed it. In fact, I actually liked it better than the first one. Sorry, but I did.
Yeah, she has no taste. She picked this. I mean, what do you expect?
Do we have to go there again?
Yes.
Like, do we have to start this argument all over again? I think they're getting sick of this argument.
So, what did you like about this?
I think it had a better story.
All 4,000 of them. I know it said 17 earlier, but it felt that way.
Better characters.
All 40,000 of them. Holy shit, were there nobody in here I could care about. Except Mako, and that's simply because I remember a character from the first one. She barely did anything. Oh wait, there was another character I cared about. The one doctor. What's his name?
Gottlieb?
Yeah, Gottlieb or however you... Yeah. The two guys from the first one, Charlie Day, and the other guy who I cannot remember who he is, but he... It looks like Voldemort if he had hair. That's what I describe. He really needs to go meet the sun for a couple days. They're both in this again. Gottlieb, I won't say his name. I just remember that because I said it about 4,000 times. He's okay. He's not obnoxious, but he's just the same guy from the first one. Yeah, him and Charlie Day, also the other two that show back up. Yeah, Newt. They kept calling him Newt.
Yeah. They kept saying his name.
Yeah.
Or, kept shortening his name. Only way I remember that.
Yeah. To speak about your whole characters, and I'm not trying to pick upon the characters, just Oh my god, I quickly just forgot who anybody was. Like, do you even remember Scott Eastwood's name? Beyond the fact that he's Scott Eastwood?
Lambert.
Yeah, Ranger Lambert, I think, but...
Yeah, I remember because on his name tag.
Yeah.
I couldn't help think Christopher Lambert, how it's spelled Lambert, but it's like...
It's French.
Well, fuck the French.
Well, fine, fuck my audience, because I'm pretty sure I got like 2 French people that watch every now and then.
Like, fuck the weird French. Sorry, but y'all are weird.
We're weird to them. Everybody's weird to everybody. Except Japanese. You're weird to everyone. Sorry. Love y'all, but you're weird folks.
No, I'm perfectly normal.
What, Japanese? You're not Japanese.
No, I'm saying I am perfectly normal. Said we're weird to them.
Oh. Really, you were on a different sentence than I was. But, yeah, Scott Eastwood is in this movie. He can't act still. He's definitely not his father's child.
He doesn't look anything like his dad. I saw his name at the end credits, like, oh yeah, I think I heard, like, yeah, he's supposed to be in this movie. He's like, yeah, I guess that was him. And it's like, he looks nothing like his dad.
Everything he says is like he's trying to make it
like,
important.
I would say everything isn't so important.
Yeah, it's such... Ugh, it's so annoying.
Kind of I couldn't really care about him, but
he's freaking the dude from Arrow. He's freaking the dude from Flash. It's this over dramatic importance that maybe can work on a shitty CW show. Really sticks out weirdly on a big budget film.
I like to pour this on you.
I cannot help a CW who hires shitty actors and has shitty writers and shitty directors. I cannot help that.
Don't be dissing on my shows.
I diss on what is shit.
That's it. You're sleeping on the couch tonight.
Oh, darn. But yeah, Scott Eastwood's terrible in this. He's just bad. Like, he's not even like Charlie Hunnam, his acting, I can easily see people not liking it, but it's still... You know that is actually him still acting in some way, even though it's kind of weird. Scott Eastwood's trying to be like, sort of like that, but it's not as fun, and it's not as eager puppy, and instead it's just brash military guy who does military stuff.
I think he's trying to emulate his dad.
I don't know, because, see, that's the thing. Clint Eastwood's style, if you've ever watched a Clint Eastwood movie, that's not how he acts. It's not close. And it seems less like an emulation and more of like copying.
Like imitation?
A bad imitation at that. So, yeah, Scott Eastwood's bad. John Boyega it's not his acting that's the problem, it's just how his character's written. There is another little girl who her name is...
Amara.
Amara. She's really terrible because she's the pit of terrible writing in this movie.
I didn't mind her. I like her.
She had
her and
14 plot points.
Like, I liked her and John Boyega's, like, their connection, like, almost like brother-sister type relationship.
For all 3 scenes they shared together. That's the thing. It's like, they really want these characters to be together, and that's the reason why I know this was probably a 2.5, 3 hour long film, and I'm curious about the director's cut, because they really make it seem like Amara and John Boyega, I really can't remember his first name, that tells you anything. I just know his last name was Pentecost. Or Pentecost, I think.
Pentecost.
So, yeah.
Jake.
Whatever. But they try to make it seem like they have this, connection, like they can actually really work together or anything. First off, they go straight down the same route of Charlie Hunnam's character and Mako, whenever Charlie Hunnam and Mako try to drift together. Or the first time whenever Charlie Hunnam sees what happened to Mako, the reason why she wants to fight the kaiju, which was actually kind of a great moment. It was one of the defining features in the first movie. It just feels like freaking, like, hey, remember this scene from the first movie? Yeah, it's lazy writing is what it is. And that's what I kept getting a lot of, because I'm like, they want to make John Boyega and Amara, really have this connection, and they don't. They barely share any scenes together. And she's not a terrible actress, But a lot of what she says is just screaming and yelling. It's like, it doesn't make for an interesting character. Ugh.
Like I said, I didn't mind her.
That's because you like that kind of bullshit. You can put up with that in shitty shows.
I thought this movie was more interesting than the first one.
Even though...
It didn't help, I was tired and I kept falling asleep during the first one when he tried to show it to me.
Even though I
was
will
like
say...
hard to get into, Sorry.
I would just say it's like this one, like you made an issue with the first movie saying there's a lot of technobabble. This movie beats you in the face with it. Like, it mentioned shit like, okay, even I'm confused. I'm a guy who paid attention to the first one. First off, the Kaiju's masters, who we kind of got a brief glimpse of before they went nuclear, somehow, one, they're still alive. Two, they don't have a name that they act like they were given, which I don't remember ever coming up in Pacific Rim.
I could have sworn that's the name they gave them at the end of the movie, and in the first movie.
Well, they didn't say shit about them. They just said, it's like, we beat the Kaiju, is pretty much what they said.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, but they're now known as the precursors.
Yeah, because, you know, you want Activision to sue you. Considering, hey, Hari did that with... Oh, what's his name? The freaking Crash Bandicoot. But yeah, that's a thing that pops up. There's all this other shit dealing with the Jaegers that keeps cropping up. It's like, this. It's really a lot of technobabble, and I didn't mind it as much, but after a while, it's like, okay, Pacific Rim, it had some technobabble, but it at least explained it in a way that felt maybe a little stilted, but still didn't make you go, This is just throwing it at you, and it's like, all right, here, accept it as a thing, even though we have all this different stuff that proves otherwise. Because, again, this movie's poorly written. There's 13,000 different plot points that want to go around. Like, we have to worry about what's going on with John Boyega. We have to worry about Scott Eastwood and supposed not romance he has with this young lady who pops up in 3 scenes.
Yeah, apparently John Boyega has the hots for her. Scott Eastwood keeps telling him, it's like...
me, pretty much.
Yeah, it's like, it's never going to happen, so forget about it.
And then, like, one kind of funny scene at the end, like, she kisses both of them on the cheek.
Well, that's confusing.
Yeah. Never mind, it's like, alright, that would be fine, except for the fact the world's about to end. But... yeah, then there's a shit about, there's drones are going to be taking over stuff. I'm like, okay, I've seen that a billion times before.
Drone Jaegers, we should say.
And, alright, I understand that they want to give some kind of a conflict, and they want to have some way that that they're going to have the kaiju in it. Mind you, the kaiju take up about 10 minutes of the movie. If that. They're barely in this movie, which is really disappointing. Instead, a massive majority of all this all revolves around... because, like, they're like, oh, well, these drones are going to be taking over for reasons, even though there's not even a reason that they need kaiju around, or Jaegers around anymore, but let's not get into that.
Just in case the kaiju ever come back.
Yeah, and it's like, but y'all, wait, what? It's, again, it's where the movie falters because its writing's piss poor. And it's all over the place. And it would have been one thing if, like, let's say people thought that the kaiju were coming back, and that's the reason why the drones were being financed, or why anything was being financed.
As far as I knew, they were safe.
Yeah, it's...
And...
sorry.
Getting a bit spoilery...
Oh, I was spoiled shit.
If you think about it, they pretty much created...
They created their problem by the midpoint of this movie, because it turns out, and I still don't get how, well, Newt had kept a brain
Kaiju
somehow.
Brain.
Yeah, and he used it to communicate with the precursors and everything, and they're pretty much controlling him, and he ends up being the major person who created the drones, in all essence. And
pretty much he felt a
Oh, he didn't feel. They controlled him.
Well, he felt a thrill at, like, drifting with the kaiju brain, a thrill that he apparently got addicted to, and it was through that they were able to control him.
I don't think it was that. Again, the movie's very vague on a lot of things. It's probably more about the fact that whenever he did maybe one more time, just wanting to make sure maybe that they're all dead or anything like that. He did it one more time, and they just kept, like, influencing him and all that. Because that's what it is. They influenced. Since they eventually took control of his body.
Yeah.
But that's stupid in and of itself, because it's from left field. I'll give him this much, at least the one lady who's trying to act like the bad person is not the bad person, but it's...
Yeah, the one lady they were trying, goes like, oh, it's so gonna be her, and it's like, no, actually it's...
It's Newton. But somehow... Because again, this doesn't make a lot of sense. Newt is able to create kaiju brains.
Modify them.
No. He made a kaiju brain. Because remember, there is this one giant robot that pops up and it has two swords, unlike Gypsy Avenger, because remember, Gypsy Danger kind of exploded.
Well, I mean, he's being influenced by the precursors, and they're the ones that built the kaiju, so why wouldn't he have that knowledge, being able to make his own?
Make a kaiju brain?
Yeah.
How would How would he have the stuff to make it? That's the thing. There's where I have my beginning problems with, just... It's a plot that begins to fold in on itself simply because of the fact that the science of it doesn't make a lot of sense. And not only that, but...
Well, I mean, being such a high-profile scientist probably has access to all these kaiju parts, including their blood.
But they die really quickly and go away very soon. Sorry to interrupt you. That was even a point that Ron Perlman made. And how would he be able to make a brain? A brain isn't simply
in my defense,
blood.
I fell asleep during the first one.
No. What I'm just trying to say is, like, how can he make a brain? I mean, it's like...
If I only had a brain.
I want to go, hey, I got a question, because, first off, brains are not just, something that just happen to be. Not like you can just squish seaweed together and hope it makes a brain. But yeah, turns out this giant robot thing is being controlled at one point by a kaiju brain. And not only that, but they beat it in the weirdest way that doesn't make any damn sense. Like at first, Gypsy Avenger, it gets its ass kicked by it. And then the second fight, it beats it pretty handily.
It's like, oh, let's go for its horns. Like, now let's see who's in it.
Well, that does make sense, because the head is where you would want to go and everything. And it's a kaiju brain!
I'm saying they rip out the core, and then they open it up and say, like, okay, let's see who's piloting this thing. It's like, oh no, it's like, how is this possible?
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying.
No, I'm just saying the problem is, like, they just handily defeat the thing that kicked their dicks in. Like, it's the same problem that wrestling shows have, that you will have, like, the heel beat the champ, and it's pretty much a squash match, and then suddenly the champ will come back after 6 months off and just beats the ever-living piss out of the heel and makes a squash match out of him, and it's like, wait, how? But this one makes even less sense, because pretty much it's the next day they are able to do this. And, okay. Or maybe it's like the day after next. I don't know, it's just... Well, so let's hear this movie doesn't understand how time works. Like, you can literally fix something. Like, you can fix a massive fucking Jaeger in approximately 20 minutes. You just need a blowtorch. Good. But yeah, it turns out that Newton's infected all these different drones with this kaiju thing?
Yeah, kaiju brains, I think.
Yeah, and it wasn't kaiju brains, it was just kaiju blood.
Or something.
They don't have kaiju brains, just have this core.
Well, yeah, it's something. They're part kaiju, part like Jaeger, like part machine.
But they're all machine. That's the thing that doesn't make any damn sense. Like, that's not how synthetics work, you asshole. That's not how any of this works. Use your brain for 5 seconds. You're a scientist.
I am right here, dear.
It's aggravating how just this movie's stupid. I mean, the first one was fun and dumb, but it was fun and dumb with not trying to insult your intelligence.
I couldn't really get into many of the characters in the first one.
That's because you like characters that are stupid and not stoic.
I can get into stoic characters, just, like...
No, you want the ones that are flawed. The flaws that their jaw doesn't work all the way right. I don't know.
I'm not saying they have to be flawed. It's just... I couldn't really get into the character. Again, didn't help that I kept, zonking out.
Again, Pacific Rim leagues better than this piece of shit. I'm sorry, Pacific Rim Uprising, the more I'm thinking about it, it's actually really aggravating of a movie. But...
like I said, I like the second one better than the first. I think Uprising had a better story, had better characters, better action, better comedy.
What story? There are so many plot threads that keep floating around that just don't feel like they get resolved worth of shit, that just suddenly come up and come back down and never come...
Well, I think for the most part they do make one, big cohesive story. I feel.
So kaiju blood can just suddenly make machines turn into kaiju?
I'm not saying there's not flaws to the science. I'm not saying that.
And also Newt just suddenly is able to create stuff from nothing? He's a god.
But for the most part, all these elements, I felt like they came together in this big, nice, cohesive story. For the most part. I mean, yeah, there are some flaws. I will admit that.
Because...
Anyway, can you, wrap this up?
No, because I got more shit I got to bitch about. Because you get these drones things, they pop up, somehow they're able to make a breach. I don't care that much, huh? Because really at this point in the movie, I'm just kind of like, this is a thing I'm watching right now. And they make breaches across the entire Pacific,
Pacific Rim.
Yeah, Pacific Rim. The Ring of Fire in all sense. Makes perfect sense. Totally get, alright, cool. Awesome, that's a real danger. They end it like that. Why? Why have that even be a danger threat whenever they end it so instantly?
Well, they're able to shut the things down before more can come through, but some do come through, and that's the real threat.
But that's the thing. That's where, this feels like so many plot threads are just brought up too easily solved or anything. It feels like a bad wrestling story.
Or maybe a bit soap opera-ish. Maybe that's why you don't like it. Maybe that's why I have to
No, because here's the thing. Soap operas are just dumb. They're just outwardly dumb. Soap operas at least try to not have something be resolved that easily. Literally they just figure out, oh, well, here's this one thing, I turned off all the drones, and all the breaches just magically closed. Never mind the fact, that's not how the breaches work. We already know this from the first one. So it's you're digging plot holes. And I thought, okay, well, breaches across the entire, area, that's a thing. No, they're just dealt with like this, just, okay, cool.
Meanwhile, quit shaking the bed, please.
But, yeah, that comes up. The breaches are easily dealt with, but 3 kaiju get through. They're 2 category 4s out of category 5. Never mind the fact that no category 4s can be taken out. Especially, these are just newer and newer Jaegers. They're faster, they're better armed, everything. And they said, well, we sent 4 Jaegers got sent. None of them came back.
Can we please wrap this up?
Because here's where it gets to the... Because I'll just say this much. It finally gets to this final battle, and it's bad. It's a bad final battle. Let's just admit that. That final battle, I was saying, okay, maybe there's going to be some epicness to it, but no. It looks a lot worse. The Jaegers feel a little way too, they feel like they have no weight. A little too much. I get that's part of the issue with CGI versus stop motion and everything. Because CGI, it feels weightless. part of the problem with it. Everything looks like it moves way too smoothly and everything. That's part of the reason why I really love Pacific Rim Original, that first off, the stuff is a lot closer, so it feels like everything's moving a little slower, like you would think a giant frickin' robot would move. Here, it's a Gundam fight. I like Gundam. In Gundam. I don't want it in my Godzilla movies, in all essence. Hell, there's even the giant RX-78 that's in Japan. Yes, I do know Gundam, people.
Nerd.
Yes, I am. Mm-hmm. But, like I said, these robots just don't feel like they're weighty. The kaiju don't feel as heavy and, like the big ones, like you saw them crushing stuff, but it felt like, oh, that's just every bit of movement is like big, it's weighty, it shakes everything. It just feels like they're just walking around like this, like air. And it makes the final fight just so lackluster. I mean, I was going into this movie hoping to have a good 7 or an 8, a really dumb movie that's going to have to explain how the kaiju come back. Oh yeah, and supposedly the kaiju are going after Mount Fuji because they're going to activate the volcano and do something.
Their blood reacts with certain rare elements found in Mount Fuji. And
somehow that would not just expel into, straight up. They're like, well, it'll go into the atmosphere, but it's... Okay, not going to touch it still.
Yeah, and then I probably kind of shut my brain off and just kind of enjoy the action.
Yeah, you have to, because the story's so poor, and it's...
No, it's more just, like, a lot of technical stuff. It's like, okay, whatever you say.
But it's a point where you can't have so much technicality to the point where it doesn't make sense, especially in combination to the original film. It would be like if in Captain America they said, it's like, oh, actually, he didn't have a superhero serum, he's actually part Wolverine. It would be a little stupid and make no sense. It's like, okay, you're making plot holes within your original, from your first movie, though it gave you a perfectly good, plate. I didn't like this. Like,
I totally can't tell.
Like, after we got done, I was like, alright, that wasn't too bad, but now I'm really thinking about it. I'm like, I don't like this. Don't like this, Sam, I am.
So what would you give it as a score?
A score? Mm-hmm. You give your score first, because I gotta think about it, just because...
Well, just FYI, I gave the first one like an 8. I have to give this one like a 9. Like I said, I liked it better than the first one.
Megan doesn't have taste.
I picked you, so you can't say shit.
Well, that's proof for taste is terrible, right, folks?
No, proof is awesome.
Proof is awesome?
It's
proof is awesome.
Proof. It's proof it is awesome.
You just forgot that word.
I did say that. I just kind of jumbled it all together. But...
This is a 1. This is not worth it at all. This is a piece of shit. It's not consistently well acted. There's way too many times where you're like, this acting's really kind of piss poor. There's like some brief moments of stuff. It feels like there's so many different plot threads that just got brought up. This one's one to finish this review quickly because I wasn't even able to get into the fact that it felt like there was a story supposed to be going on with Amara, but it just kept getting shunted off for this main drone story. It wasn't interesting.
I think we got enough of a story.
But I wanted to know what was the deal between her and the Russian chick, because it just got resolved like that. It's like
the Russian chick explained her issue. Like, she worked her ass off trying to get into that academy, and Amara's like, she did nothing but just like make this hunk of junk and run around with it.
Resolution is my problem. The resolution was, there was only like, they had that one scene where they where they first met, had a scene where they fought, then suddenly they were fine.
Yeah, they kept getting the speech like, okay, you're family. It's like, act like it.
Yeah, and what? It felt like I was missing something. I'm like, what am I missing here? I feel like there's just a chunk of something cut out. I felt like there was more between John Boyega and Scott Eastwood. I felt like there was more between John Boyega and Mako. Like, wouldn't it have been great to have them sitting there drinking a beer talking about their father? wouldn't that have been fun? Wouldn't that have been neat at least? I, I mean, there's a point to that. I did want to see a monster fight a robot, but first off, that barely happens in this movie. Like, people complain about the newest American Godzilla film, that Godzilla really wasn't in it a whole lot. First off, every Japanese fan will go, no, 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 trust me, you got more Godzilla than most Godzilla films have. It's just because it's such a long film, the percentage is a little low, or feels a little lower than normal. But again, like, I didn't even get any of those like really badass elements like I really wanted from a good fight. Like, think about with Pacific Rim. What are some of the things you can remember? Like, you can remember from the first one, the fist going through and hitting the little things and making them knock back and forth. You can remember the reveal of that sword and then just chopping the damn thing in half. You can remember so many little bits, or like the first Category 5 ones, just pretty much wreck shit.
First of all, that little scene with the little Newton's cradle, I totally forgot about that until you said something. Second of all those goddamn kaiju, they looked alike to me.
Yeah, they did look alike, and that was actually kind of the idea.
I know, it was like, they're indistinguishable from one another to me.
Well, what I'm just saying is you can remember the fights. You can remember certain little moments. Here, I remember one moment, and that's simply where, again, they do a little like the Newton's Cradle, thing, where Gypsy Avenger's fist kind of just like rolls and hits a car, and it sets off its alarm. Like, it just barely taps the car. But it felt like more of a hearkening back to the first scene from the first movie than it did its own original thing. Because other than that, I don't remember anything about the final fight. Except for it was a CGI mess.
I remember way more about the second one than I do the first one.
It's because you remember the shitty movies easier. No, the shitty movies really will stick in your mind easier simply because they're such a painful memory. Pain is a hell of a thing to bear into you. That's the reason why I actually
enjoyed this movie better than the first one. So what pain is there?
Because you're trying to, say it's better even though it's not. Yeah, this is, like I said, this is an easy one in a bad way because it's not worth seeing in theaters. That's something I don't feel like I want to say, but you shouldn't see this. This is not worth your time. It's nearly 2 hours long, and it feels like it got cut down in half, which is something. It's like, wow, this
Whereas
movie...
I think it's not bad. I think if you can go see it in theaters, I don't think you're going to regret it.
You're going to regret it bad.
I mean, unless you're like him.
If you have taste.
Well, considering you chose me, it shows you have no taste whatsoever.
It shows I have awesome taste.
Fuck you know.
Yeah, this is just... There's not enough to give a shit about throughout this whole thing. You just don't have good characters, you don't have good writing, you don't have good CGI, and you have a plot that can't decide what the hell it wants to do. Too many times it wants to go in 4,000 directions. I'm like, calm down, go one way. I have ADD, I understand. It's hard to stay attention to one, or stay there with one thing. Let's do it though. Let's work together. Let's do it. So, yeah, that's a thing.
Okay, you done going off on your rant?
I can rant more if I need to.
I think we're good.
Just to let y'all know, if you really need to see a giant monster fight a giant robot, go watch first Pacific Rim. Go buy it. It'll probably be cheaper altogether in terms of tickets or comparison. And not only that, it looks a lot better. I think, like, watching Pacific Rim, the first one, I finally actually got to see on Blu-ray whenever we last watched it. It's very beautiful. It still holds up real well. I mean, mind you, it's only a 4-year-old movie.
Well, I thought the second one was prettier than the
I thought it was butt ugly. It was just, everything looked off. It just looked a little off. Everything looked a little too free-floating.
I think it's the case of...
I'm a CGI and image nut. Okay?
Well, you're certainly nut about something.
That's just why I love movies that are visually stunning. I'm able to forgive so much, and that's the reason why this movie, it's not visually stunning. It's also not as colorful. Like, the first movie was actually rather colorful.
I thought it was more colorful than the first one, because...
What color? Most of it was browns and grays. And blues.
I just didn't think there was that much color in the first one to begin with.
The whole... going through China or Hong Kong, trying to find Ron Perlman, all the different colors here.
Well, I mean,
it's Guillermo del Toro. It was beautiful.
There was that, but for the most part, it's like all these battle scenes took place like at night on the water or near the water. It's like, okay, well, this is kind of a monochromatic color scheme. It's like, can we make this like during the day sometime, or maybe take it somewhere else? Destroy a few cities, please.
Well, they did destroy cities. I mean, you got the beginning scene where the freaking kaiju crunches through freaking the Golden State Bridge and starts wrecking shit. Or whenever you had that one kaiju tearing through the wall and heading towards Sydney, which, mind you, got fixed up pretty quickly in 10 years. It's actually kind of cool. I bet they got the same group from Man of Steel that did it.
Sorry, you're a little loud.
Yeah, God, this movie sucks. Uprising sucks. It's terrible.
I liked it.
This is signing. So, next week, we're going to see a movie now I'm really starting to dread. Because some people are starting to already talk about this, and they're like, it looks pretty, it has no freaking soul. And I'm like, I just watched pretty much that, except for it wasn't pretty.
What was we saying again?
Ready Player One.
Oh, yeah.
So,
that was cool.
So, I guess we can get 80s, 90s, whatever. It's just nostalgia. It's geek nostalgia and nonsense.
Yeah.
So, I guess we can all get ready for that, so.
The puns.
I got them. So, yeah, we'll see y'all next week, and maybe my soul will be better off, but I'm fearing for it. So, till then, everybody, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.